Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back. We are excited to have Delynn Miller joining us here today, the founder of Pursuit Institute Coaching and Consulting. Excited to get to know her and all she can do to help you with mindset coaching and so much more. First and foremost, hello and welcome, Delynn. How are you?
Hello. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Excited to have you here. Are you in Barbados? Is that where you're currently located?
I sure am. Yep.
All right. I'm jealous. What's the weather like? I have to ask.
It's hot and sunny with a side of hot and sunny.
Which is probably always the case, right?
True story. Yes.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
You're originally from Ontario, Canada, and we're excited to have you here. We're going to get to know you, but just an overall of the Mindset Coaching organization. Tell us a little bit about Pursuit Institute.
So Pursuit Institute is really one of those filling in the gaps in the industry sort of movements. I've done coaching now for the last dozen years, and there was definitely some gaps that I was seeing in different organizations that I was a part of. And I kept attracting in all of these other coaches that were also seeing the gaps. And I just kind of said to myself, you know what, I'm going to create this. And of course, when you create it, they will come, right? So it's definitely one of those organizations designed to bring coaches together so that everybody's not working in silos all the time. So we can just help more people.
Beautiful. And we're going to talk about your mentorship, your coaching programs and everything business development wise. But before we get there, do you mind if I go back and find out more about you? Tell us, where you grew up and tell us a little bit of your backstory. It's always good to find out more about you first.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you already said, from Ontario, Canada, small town in Southern Ontario. And, growing up for me, it was definitely the perfect storm where I could see how it's led me to where I am now. And it was one of those circumstances where, like a lot of, children of the 80s, we got to kind of go first for some things in society that weren't a norm in the 70s and the 60s and the 50s. So, I come from, first generation divorced parents. That's always a one way up there. And then, it just kind of evolved from there. And I think when you're exposed to certain things when you're a kid, you then get to kind of go, okay, how do I want this to shape me? And I'm really grateful that, I definitely had one of those, one parent who was very pro, positive thinking, think about what you want, don't be thinking about what you don't want. So there were those sorts of habits that I didn't have to work out when I was an adult because they were definitely programmed into me when I was a kid. So that was amazing. And, it was, although still programmed into me that I had to, like, going to university was not an option. My parents were like, not sure how we're going to pay for it, but you're going, figure it out. And so, it's interesting because at, 17, you kind of go, okay, I don't know what I want. What do I want to do for the rest of my life? Like, what does that even look like? Right. So started going, okay, what is it that I like to do? And I remember going to my guidance counselor in high school and saying, okay, like, I have to go to university. And I realized really quickly that anything that they were going to point me to was going to just lead me to not where I wanted to go. It was just kind of more, it was like it was designed for mediocrity. And I just wasn't interested in that even at 17 years old. Right. But I remember saying to them, I really want to know why people do what they do, because I'm just seeing lots of people saying they want to do this, but then the results are showing the opposite of that. And I just knew that I didn't want that. I was like, I want to be able to say what I want, and then I want to be able to get it.
Yeah.
And so they were like, oh, psychology, that's what you need to go for. You need to go for psychology. And I thought, okay, sure.
All right, fine.
Sure.
Yeah, let's follow what they say. Yep, they got to be right. Yes,
absolutely. So it's like a BA in psychology. It's what the most useful of degrees that there is, right? So after 4 years of doing that, I was like, and I don't understand. I know a lot about the brain. I know a lot about the science and the chemicals and the neurotransmitters and all the things, but I'm coming out of here not knowing what I wanted, right? So that then I was then becoming like a perpetual student, right? Because
Yeah.
again, it was like ingrained in me that you get the grades, then you can go to school, then you can get the good job, then you can do that job for 30 years, and then you get to live the good life, right? So that was, I
Yeah.
was like, okay, well, maybe I'll feel the
Maybe.
satisfaction.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll feel it after I'm done school. Okay, well, no. Okay, well, maybe after I find the guy. Okay, so found the guy. Okay, well, maybe after we get married. Okay, then we got married. Okay, well, then maybe after we have kids. So then
Mhm.
had a couple kids. And then it was just like I had everything on the outside to be super grateful for, but I've like never been more dissatisfied
Ah,
in my life. Like I just felt lost and I felt like I was constantly just chasing the next thing. And that led me to like starting up my own thing 10 years ago.
ah, amazing. By the way, how
Yeah,
many kids do you have?
I have
Oh,
two
how old are
girls.
they?
They are going to be 10 and 12 this year.
Oh my God, I have a two boys, 7 and 9. I could
Oh,
relate. Okay.
yep,
It's a lot of
yep,
work. Yep.
yep,
Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. So now here you are, and
yep.
tell me now how, the career wise and how we came here.
So, I was a corporate ladder climber, professional ladder climber for the first 15 years of working. I ended up when I was in university, I was working at a hospital. And then when I graduated university, like I just said, I still didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. So I just started working at the hospital. And before I knew it, I was just chasing the next job and having an
Hmm.
impact, but was really realizing towards the end of my time in corporate executive land that I wasn't getting to have the impact that I wanted to have. And so once when I was pregnant with my first daughter, when you spend so much time pouring yourself into an environment, you kind of expect it to shut it down when you go on maternity leave, right? And
Yeah.
in Canada, we get a year maternity leave. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, like this hospital is going to shut down when I leave for sure, right? For sure. Guarantee that's what's going to
Yeah.
happen. And then it didn't. And I was replaced. Imagine that for a whole year.
Wow.
And I mean, of course, that's what's going to happen, right? I was
Of
just in
course.
my own little world, right? Well, I mean, I wasn't going to win Employee of the Year because I came back from maternity leave pregnant with my second daughter, and I know, right? Just like
It's
that. That's how
a
it
lot.
happens.
I
So
know.
then, when again, I was like, okay, I'm gearing off to go on maternity leave again. And when you're gone from your habitual way of doing things for like 2 whole years, you really get a sense of, okay, like there's other things out here that I can do. What do I
Yeah.
want my life to look like? And now I had these two daughters who I'm going, you know what? They don't always do what I say, but they will always do what I do. And if I don't love what I'm doing,
Yeah.
what am I saying to them? What, suck it up for 30 years and then you get to live the good life? I just that didn't really feel the way I wanted it to feel. So so I ultimately, within, I would say, a year of going back to work, and they put me in a
Hmm.
really amazing executive director's role. Like it was
You had it all on the outside, right? Every dream that you ever thought
everything
you
I
wanted.
wanted. I
Yep.
was like, oh my God, it's right there. But I also was overseeing the building of a hospice. So this is where people go to
Mm,
die,
yep.
right? And I was
Hmm.
realizing, I was like, holy crap, like it's not just
Wow.
like really old people going here to die, it's people my age.
Yeah.
And there's all different ages. And in that same time frame, my mom had a double lung transplant, and my
Ah,
oldest daughter was diagnosed
ah,
with type 1 diabetes. So I was really kind of hit with mortality in the face, right? So I'm planning people's end of life. two main people in my life. And it was kind of this perfect crap storm that I needed to happen for me to go, how do I want to live my life? Because this isn't it. Right.
No, life
So
is too preciously short. What am I doing? I get it.
that's
Career
right.
was so this, and then now you have the family. I lost my mom to lung cancer 7 years ago, had the kids. It's like you start putting things into perspective. Like, what's
100%.
really important here? Is it that luxurious job? Is it that nice car?
Yeah.
No, it's here.
Right. And I started working with a coach because I remember saying to my husband, I was just like, all right, something's got to change. And I ran into a girlfriend of mine who had been working with a coach, and I felt her energy was totally different. She was like on fire. And I was like, all right, who are you working with? And I need them in my life because I just feel totally lost. And once I started working with a coach, I got so much clarity on what I wanted. And then I started, things that I was already doing, which I thought I kind of, fell into called it like my side passion or your side hustle sort of thing. And I was like, why does this have to, on the side of what? Like, why would I put something that I actually love doing on the side and report for 8-10 hours a day doing something that's like, meh, like it's just okay. Right. So that's when, I really started diving into and like starting my own business. And I worked at the hospital and was growing my business with 2 toddlers for the first 2 years. And then finally I just was like, you know what? I gotta put my money where my mouth is, and I'm going all in. And I resigned at the hospital.
Amazing.
And I went all in with my business. And now it's been like 10 years since I did that. And even 2 years ago, my husband did the exact same thing. He was a police officer for 15 years. And he just came home one day and was like, you know what? I don't really want to do this anymore. And I'm like, then don't. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? And he's like, I want to go online too. I'm like, awesome, let's do it. And then when we were both portable, that's when we were like, we're freezing
we could live in
Canada.
Barbados.
Why are we living here?
Oh, how did you find Barbados? Just curious. My goodness. Did you always go there on vacation, or how random is that?
We had never been here before. Never.
Wow.
Never. We kind of came up with 5 criteria that we liked in islands that we had been to. And Barbados checked all the boxes. And we just said, okay, let's do it. And we said to the girls, do you want to go on an adventure? And they were like, yeah. So we sold everything in Canada and packed up the dog and the kids. And here we are.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
In your own pursuit of happiness, now you're helping so many. And I want to point out Pursuit Institute cc.com for coaching and consulting. That's the website. That's how we can find you, right?
Yep.
You can go right to the website, take that 25-day challenge. And we're going to talk more about the procrastination, overcoming that, the challenge. But there's so much more to you helping people transform their minds. Where do we start? Where do you want to begin about the work you're doing?
Well, it's so funny. It's like you can begin really anywhere. At the end of the day, the key thing, whether it is your business or whether it is health or whether it's, and I mean, this is, I working in the healthcare industry for so long, health is always my go-to, right? And I'm a firm believer that there's no point in you having all the money and having all the followers and having all the things if your health is going downhill, right?
So true.
So I always have people focus on, it's very holistic, right? So we're talking about health, we're talking about relationships, we're talking about money, we're talking about your purpose, which is like not the same thing as your profession. A lot of people mix those 2 things up.
Yeah.
And even your purpose is not parenting. So if you're like a parent and you're going, my purpose is to be a mom, like you had your purpose long before you procreated other humans.
True. Very true.
We express it in different ways, right? So I really like to look at it from a mind, body, spirituality. We do a lot of spirituality work. Again, not to be confused with religion. I don't teach religion. It's definitely spirituality. And this is where it's like, it's looking at and going in any area of your life, are you getting the results that you want? Like, because everybody has a desire for something, right?
True.
So someone
Yep,
might
for
say,
sure.
I desire $1 million. Okay, well, do you have $1 million? No, I have $100. Okay, well, there's a
Mm-hmm.
gap between $100 and $1 million.
Sure
All you gotta do
is.
is close the
Okay.
gap,
Yep.
right? So my goal now is, because once you know how to close the gap in one area of your life, you can close the gap in any area of your life.
Beautiful. Well, we're
Yeah.
excited to have you here, and let's
Yeah,
get
thanks.
started talking about the coaching, the mentorship, and main principles
Good.
of your 6-month program, which I guess that's what you recommend most, right?
Yeah. So there is, I was finding in all of my time working with people that 6 months is kind of that magic
I was
spot.
going to ask. It's probably a little different for everyone, but about good to
It's,
change
yeah,
habits, to reestablish new habits, good habits, better habits. All right, good.
that's right. That's right. Yeah. So 6 months definitely gives us time to like come together, to look at what are the things that have got you to this point and what do you need to then start believing and thinking about, because it's our thoughts that are getting us our results. And a lot of people don't, they think it's their actions, right? Well, I always say it's really this be, do, have triad, right? So you first, in order to have, right, whatever it is that you want to have, you first have to be the person that has that. Then you'll start to do and take action like they take. And then you can have what it is that they have, right? So when we really start looking at, what are the gaps? What are your current habits? What are you currently being? What are you currently thinking about? Who are you currently like spending time with? Like your environment's everything. Like, are you spending time with people that are going to move you forward, or that you
Yeah.
have to fight their habits every single day, right? And it's really looking at and not spending so much time in, where did these thoughts come from, right? So if someone wants to have $1 million or a successful business or thriving relationships or better health or whatever it is, those thoughts that currently gave you your current like results, they
Mm-hmm.
were programmed into you. Like you
Got
weren't
it.
born, like babies aren't born caring what, they don't know what money is. They don't care about money, right? So then why then do you, at like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, is it like, well, money's limited and money doesn't grow on trees. Money's the root of all evil.
Mm-hmm.
We have all these stories in our head, and it's
Yeah.
like, where did those come from? Well, they came from the programming that we have, and our programming, and you can call it lots of different things. I like to call it the paradigm. I've even named my paradigm. So mine's
What?
Linda. You may as well,
Okay.
you got to get to know her. She's a real piece of work. I always
I'm
think of,
sure.
that YouTube video with that little kid talking to his mom, and he's like, listen, Linda, listen, listen. Anyways, that's where I got Linda from. And yeah, like when you think of all of the thoughts and the stories and everything that you were programmed with, um, it's just a lot of them are going to get you where you want to go. They got you to where you are now, but they're not going to get you where you want to go. So it's like this solid 6-month plan. I've called it one thought away, because we're literally one thought away from getting anything that we want.
Oh my goodness. We are.
Yeah,
I love this. I love this. I love this. I
cool.
love this. So we can grow. It's possible. And it's all about changing, that mindset, right? And
Mhm.
it's crazy to think, but here's someone who did it. You found your true happiness, and not easy. You went up and down. So I love the fact that you've kind of been where everyone's been. You've walked the walk, you talked the talk, and here you are now helping others. And
Yeah.
now specifically, are you working with individuals or businesses or both?
So I work with both. The initial stages of when I was coaching and really trying to like figure out my way and my path, I've done a lot of one-on-one work. But we have, now that we have this group of coaches that have all come together with the Pursuit Institute, we have the most amazing community. We call ourselves the 2% Club, because we are doing in it what 98% of humans aren't doing. And now I know that I adore working with entrepreneurs and businesses. And I've worked with businesses now with, 5 team members or 500 or 5,000. And it's really at the end of the day, because everybody that works in the organization has a human mind. You can work with anybody, which is the nice part. I absolutely love working with females, purely because I just know that there's this magic that comes with the female energy, and I just love working with it. So
Perfect. All right. Well,
yeah.
thank you so much. And also, I'm on the website. I urge everyone to do the same. Could you share the website one more time with us?
www.pursuitinstitutecc.com.
Perfect. And excited to have you here. Now, what's this 25-day challenge? Is that something we should talk about too?
Yeah, let's do it. So the goal behind the challenge and is this one specifically is around procrastination. So that, because again, this is just one of the habits that it's truly just a habit and people don't know how to break it. So we have a 25-day challenge followed by a workshop that gives you everything for you to actually stop procrastinating and get you where you want to go.
I love this. Now, hold on. You also mentioned you can help with, business stuff like finances, right? To help people be more abundant. Also, one thing I didn't know, you were working with people with relationships too. That's got to be a big one.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I find they all trickle into each other. It like it's not an accident that you see the people that seem to have all the money, they also have the six-pack abs, and they also have the, thriving relationships and the whatever, right? Like I said, everything you do is transferable, but it's about identifying one area, right?
Yeah.
So some people will come in and they're just like, I don't care how much money I have. I don't care what car I drive. I don't care where I live. I don't even care about my health at this point, but my relationships have got to change. Like they've got to, whether it's a romantic relationship or just friendships or family or whatever, right? And it's like, okay, cool. And then it allows me to be able to meet people where they're at. But either way, once you go through the 6-month program, you come out going, okay, yep, I know how to do this with my relationships, which is the same process I'm going to use on my health, because at the end of the day, everybody deserves to be obsessed with all areas of their life, not just one area of their life.
Beautifully true. By the way, there's some great testimonials on the website that I've been reading, and they're flashing by real quick, but you're one of the most positive people, Andre says. Her energy is infectious, and saying that you're always called to inspired action after your conversations with her. You have the right questions, you know how to ask them, leaving you with clarity, feeling good, and Andre is extremely grateful to have met you. Also, someone else mentions that you're highly knowledgeable, you engage with your clients and promote overall well-being, just not mental well-being, but you're extremely connected with resources and many helpful tools. And this person, Nicole, highly recommends you, Delynn. So cool. yeah, we only have, 4 minutes left in the show. It happens so quick. There's retreats. What else did you want to share for today's show?
Oh my gosh, you know what? There's so many different ways that I like to meet people where they're at. I mean, podcasts, speaking engagements, retreats. We host retreats here in Barbados. We also host retreats. Really, we host them all over. And I also have a book coming out. Tell us, yay! So it's really been a labor of love. I'm really excited about it. So it's called You Can't Mess This Up. And it's about breaking down the thoughts that keep you stuck because you're just afraid that you're going to mess it up, so you don't do anything. So I know that was me for a very long time. So this book really dives into how to break down the limiting beliefs, just like embrace the fact that you're not meant to do it perfect. You're not going to, but not doing anything is not really an option. So yeah, so that's coming out on March 28th.
Beautiful. Congratulations. And where can we find the book?
Well, we will have it for you on the website as well as on Amazon. And it comes with an app that I'll be launching as well.
Oh my goodness. What type of app? Is it a surprise?
Like a mobile app.
Is it like a coaching app or is it
It's a little bit of everything. So we have a free option, but it's also going to house everything that I have ever created, as well as all of our communities. I'm really, really big on bringing people together so that, again, everybody doesn't necessarily have the environment yet within their home or their workplace, but I really wanted to create an environment where people can come together and mastermind together and really just connect. So there's a little bit of everything on there from, hundreds and hundreds of videos, challenges, workshops, communities, guided meditations, visualizations, books, ebooks. Oh, there's tons.
Wow. And she's Mom, I don't know how you do everything. I just want to mention you also told us a few things about what would you like to share with everyone, and to someone who feels maybe limited in their dreams. But no, you say, don't wait to begin. Nothing changes if nothing changes. I love these. Be the change you want to see. You are the beginning and the end of all your problems. Success is your birthright. Follow your dreams, not the dreams of others. Change your mind, change your results.
Right.
And decide. I love it.
That's it.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure getting to know you today. And wow, this is amazing. So again, Delynn Miller and Dave, your husband, right? You both founded the Pursuit Institute Coaching and Consulting. How many people do you work with under you as coaches?
So there's about 25 of us at the time. And we are, if there's any coaches out there that you're like, I am done working in a silo and I want to work with a team, we come together and we serve everybody from that space.
So does some of the coaches have certain specialties, I'm assuming? Some for relationships, some for business, some for awesome. And what do you specialize in? She's like, everything. You got it down.
I specifically love leadership is but I really come at it from a self-leadership perspective. Like that's my jam. All of the coaches are still their own entity. They're still their own business. We just come together. So I wouldn't say they really work under me so much as in partnership.
Got it. Perfect. Thank you so much. And one more time, pursuitinstitutecc.com. Delynn, do you want to share? Do you have any social media pages? Do you want to share a phone number as well?
All of them. All of the social media
Perfect.
So you can follow Pursuit Institute and myself, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
Perfect.
TikTok.
And Delynn is spelled Delynn Miller. Look for the new book coming out too. Exciting. Are we going to talk again soon?
You bet.
Yes.
See you next week.
Great. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much. I would love to hear more about your client testimonials and maybe even talk to some of the people that you've worked with. I love this.
Good.
Thank you so much. All right. Have a great day, Delynn.
You too.
Enjoy the sunshine.
Always.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.